oil heating, and I've told the House that he will chair a COBRA this afternoon to look at exactly the sort of concerns the honourable gentleman is concerned about.
Speaker, can I put on record my thanks to the British Armed Forces who are working round the clock to defend British interests and British people as we speak. But my constituents in Rochdale made quite clear they want no part of this wider war being waged by the US and Israel. At the same time, they expect the robust defence of British interests and British personnel. So, although I welcome the fact that he said neither of those Iranian missiles got anywhere close to Diego Garcia, can he reassure this House that the UK will play its full part in the defence of Diego Garcia should such a similar missile attack happen again?
So say.
Mr. Speaker, we will, as we have done, we will always defend our British personnel, we'll defend our British bases, and I know my honourable friend and his constituents in Rochdale will be proud of the fact that our RAF pilots have now flown nearly 900 hours during this conflict, exactly those purposes, and he will be proud of the fact that there are now more British jets in the region than there have been for 15 years.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Any assessment of this intervention must recognise that the Iranian regime has made the Iranian people pay with blood for every single act of defiance. So any attempt to apportion blame when a mass insurrection does not materialise would be unjust. And I hope we will hear ministers say that soon from the dispatch box. Last week I raised concerns that the assessment of the intent and capability of Iran was clearly flawed, and I think this weekend's activities prove that to be true. So what action has the Secretary of State taken to challenge thinking internally and to support our British overseas territories by taking action to reinforce their defences and by speaking to their elected governments, not just governors?
So stay.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure that I really follow. I certainly don't accept what I understand to be the Honourable Lady's point. When I was in Cyprus a couple of weeks ago, I met with the Defence Minister, I met with the Chief of their National Guard, and he made clear to me that military cooperation is closer than it's ever been with the UK. And I've said that we're playing a leading role with the Republic of Cyprus in coordinating the increasing capabilities that are in the Eastern Mediterranean to help that sovereign base remain as protected as we can in the circumstances and in the face of Iranian threats.
Catherine Wells.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And further to that point, could I thank the Minister for Europe for going to Cyprus last week, and also for the conversations between the Prime Minister and the President of Cyprus, and also what reassurance can he give my constituents where we have really deep ties and long-standing people-to-people ties with the people of Cyprus, that it's not just about British personnel, but it's about the wider Cypriot family?
So
I can indeed, Mr. Speaker. I hope she will recognise, and I hope as the government of the Republic of Cyprus and their military recognise that the steps that we've taken well before this war broke out to reinforce defences in Cyprus and across the region have been there not just to protect British personnel and step up defences of our base, but are indeed defending and helping protect the whole of the Republic of Cyprus and the island of Cyprus.
Dr. Alping.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From the first moment that the attempted rocket launches towards Diego Garcia were reported over the weekend, there has been growing speculation, fuelled mainly by Israel, that Iran's strike capacity now stretches far beyond what we previously conceived, far beyond the Gulf region. Given what the Secretary of State has said today, given that he has confirmed that these were Iranian rockets, which goes beyond the NATO Secretary General yesterday, can he just confirm how close those rockets came, or those missiles came, to Diego Garcia? And what is the MOD's assessment now about the effective strike range of Iran's missile capacity? Does it stretch deep into Europe, and is the UK even now at risk?
So State.
The missiles that were fired in the direction of Diego Garcia, as I've said, fell well short. One came down and one was brought down well short. And in terms of the specific capabilities of adversaries like Iran and what they hold, those are certainly not details that he would expect or I will disclose to the House or in public.
Darren Caffey.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And can I associate myself with the comments of the Secretary of State when he commends our brave servicemen and women, far from hanging around as the Leader of the Opposition thinks they are doing. They are working night and day to protect us at home and abroad. Absolutely. And as one of the many members across this House who's been part of the Armed Forces Parliamentary Screen, I add my thanks to them. Precisely because, Madam Deputy Speaker, the first priority of any government is to protect British citizens, can the Secretary of State give assurance to this House here and now that those facing Iranian aggression, closer than any of us will, have everything they need to defend our people, our bases and our allies?
Secretary of State.
I thank my honourable friend. I can indeed. As I reported to the House, we have the highest levels of force protection in place. Those are reviewed daily by the Chief of Joint Operations. They report to me each week. And I say to my honourable friend, he is completely right. When I was in Cyprus a couple of weeks ago, talking to the very pilots and crews that allow our F-35s and Typhoons to fly those defensive missions, as they have done from day one in this conflict, they were frankly insulted. The Leader of the Opposition had accused them of just hanging around. And we, on this side, there's never been an apology from the opposition for those remarks. And we on this side know that they're working flat out, knowing that they're doing a really important job to defend our personnel, our bases and our allies.
We've got many people that need to squeeze in, so questions need to be short and answers need to be just as short. Sir Ian Duncan-Smith.
Madam Deputy Speaker, can I just say to the right honourable gentleman that we can debate all of this about what the armed forces think or they don't think. I always think it's best to leave them out of these debates. However, there is an issue here at home, and defence of the realm is defence of home first and foremost. And we know that the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, have threatened us here on these shores endlessly for a number of years. Many colleagues either side of the House have called for them to be prescribed. As yet, in the middle of this war, we have not prescribed the IRGC. This would make the life of our security service so much easier if we did so. Will the Secretary of State please get up and say it is his determination that they should be prescribed and kicked out or arrested for all the awful deeds that they do, chasing, hounding and killing people on the British shores?
Secretary of State.
The right honourable gentleman makes his case. He knows, like I do, that our British services have foiled around 20 sabotage, assassination plots with the Iranian hand behind them on British soil. He makes the case for prescription. That is a decision in other parts of government, something that we keep under review and something that we will take in the broader view of the way that we are challenging, confronting and working with allies to deal with the Iranian threats.
Luke Charters.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. BBC News Ukraine recently published an outstanding report on the demand for drone interceptors like the British-made Octopus and Wild Hornet Sting drone. So will the government update the House on what work they are doing to bolster UK and Ukrainian drone interceptor production so that these devices can be in the skies defending against Shahid drones that are threatening British interests and Gulf partners' interests alike?
Secretary of State.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm proud to say there are interceptors in the skies above Ukraine now that have the British hand and British production behind them, working closely with Ukraine. The Octopus interceptor that he talks about is a special link-up, Ukraine and the UK, and we look forward to being able to produce these en masse and return them back into Ukraine to help them defend their skies against Putin's invasion.
Todd?
6 days ago, the UK government's security group rightly launched a leak inquiry into the leaking of very sensitive information from the National Security Council. Now, I don't expect the Defence Secretary to comment on an ongoing inquiry, but does he agree on these principles? That, first of all, the very least our armed forces expect when they're being sent into harm's way is the political leadership of this country doesn't leak secret and top secret information. And secondly, the principle, whoever it is, whether it is a cabinet minister or a senior official or junior official that when caught, they will be sacked.
State.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I don't think anyone can doubt the determination of the Prime Minister to prevent such actions or to take action required when there are such activities going on. And so I can give the Right Honourable Gentleman my reassurance that that should be the case.
Jacob Collier.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Can I join the Defence Secretary in paying tribute to our civilians and armed forces personnel who are defending the UK national interest, and I've had the privilege to meet many of them overseas during my time in this House. Those serving overseas have been putting themselves in harm's way, and they will have families back at home who are understandably worried, especially given the situation with personnel from the US and France being killed. So can I ask him what support he's putting in place for the families back at home of those that are serving in the Middle East?
Secretary of State.